Hello, everyone. Welcome to the trip. It is Monday after another disappointing weekend for Arsenal, but we'll get into that and then some. But yeah, I got Tony with me. Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing better after you sent me the link.
Yeah,
I-
sorry about that.
I-
I thought I sent
If
it
I
when
were,
I. Yeah,
if I was doing the Family Guy style weather, I'd say it's cold. But my favorite always was it's raining sideways.
yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, Arsenal life sucks. Other life's okay.
All right, cool. We'll say hi to everybody and we'll get into this. Got Steven in the house. Welcome to the show, Steven. All right. Rosie's saying hello. Yep, Rosie. So says hit the like and subscribe. All right, got Lolo in the house. Welcome to the show, Lolo. I'm well. Rosie, hope you're doing all right as well. Let's say hi to Tony as well. All right, we got Anders in the house. Anders, thanks for joining us. This is a loaded question here, Rosie. How are you doing, Tony? How are you well?
I, I, I'm well, but I still got 7 doctor's appointments this week.
There
7.
you go. So there you go. That's how well he is.
Just
Yeah,
Tony making use of a
yeah,
punch
Anders.
card.
Got Brenny in the house. Welcome to the show, Brenny. All right, all right. Yeah, I just been laying on the couch all day. It's been it snowed. It didn't really snow a lot, but it snowed enough to make it inconvenience to do anything. So I just basically lay on the couch all day. I watched was it the series Banshee? So I started watching that. Yeah,
It's not too bad of a series. It was on Cinemax.
yeah.
It's one of a series they came up with. Oh, we're not there, so tits after 10 o'clock. Let's come up with TV shows, and
Hmm.
it's not that bad.
Yep. Yep. No, I've been liking it. Um, I'm liking it. So it's been entertaining. It's got me on the couch and not really needing to get up. But all right. Well, last time we chatted, North London Derby was going to be the midweek game. I think the way we've been playing, you don't know what we're going to get. Right? We just had another poor, week of games where we lost to Newcastle and essentially lost to Manchester United, both in cups. We're out of the AFL Cup, but I say we're out of the FA Cup. EFL Cup, we got to go to go to Newcastle and try to overturn a 2-goal deficit. So essentially, we got to win by 2. So 3-1 doesn't do it. 3-0 does. 3-0 will get us there. But actually, at least 3-0. 3-1 will get us into extra time, but penalty kicks don't seem to be our thing either. So we might have to depend on it, but we'll see. Mr. Tony, how you feel about? Well, I'll get into it now. But so North London Derby. This is that was the third of a 5-game stretch where we had games at home. It's going to be a tough one, even though I think I expected us to win, but I expect us to win pretty much every game. But we haven't been. I haven't felt that much guaranteed that it's going to happen. We play Tottenham anyways. Oh, I said the name, but
Uh-oh.
Tony, how do you feel about the North London Derby?
It about what I expected. There wasn't anything that really surprised me. I thought it would be close, and it was close. So
Yeah, I mean, to tell you where we sit. Well, just before we continue on with our talk about North London Derby. Oh, I was going to bring on Spencer, but he disappeared, so I don't know if that means he's coming or he's not ready. But when he's ready, I'll let you in. We'll say hi first to Mr. Tom. He joins us. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I'm not sure who's Allison. I don't know who Allison is. Did I miss something? Oh, okay. All right. I thought it was Allison. But the fact that that team lost over the weekend to Everton, I think it was 3-1. Says a lot about where we are.
Yeah.
I don't think Everton is that much better than us, but I think we are playing really poorly. But got the 2-1 win. We'll take it. I think we actually fell behind in that game, but came back to win it. Yeah, I think we made a mistake, like we always seem to do. They take advantage, score, and then we come back and get the win. We were able to. We've been a little resilient that way, but be nice to not have to deal with going behind one goal. Actually, if I'm looking at this correctly, yeah, they scored. Son scored early, and then we scored 2 more before the half, and that was basically all she wrote. So yeah, anything else on the North London Derby, Tony?
Yeah. I'm always glad to get those games out of the way. Now we don't have to worry about them the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, better when people don't know who Allison is. All right. Mr. Tom's been at work. Yep. All right. So we get that win. So that was good. And then we move on to our next challenge. A big one. One that derailed us last season. Home versus Villa. We lose that one late in the season. That basically knocks us out of the that's a chance for you to win the league this time around. We just needed it to keep pace and maintain only a 4-point difference between us and Liverpool. So it was manageable. But Tony, talk to me about the Villa game.
Villa's not surprising. Unai always seems to be ready for Arsenal. I think he feels like he could have did better if given the proper support like Arteta gets. I think we would have won trophies already if he was given the support that Arteta gets, but he wasn't. So he's their manager. Turned them around quick, got them in the Champions League. They're kind of struggling to do it on 2 fronts. We were up early. Should have been cruising 2 goals up, but nope. They get one back. Then you get their best players scoring the last goal. And that was pretty much all it wrote. And we get 1 point, which is way too much of a habit this season. 1 point. I would have took a few more losses and a few more wins, but I don't like all these draws. It's almost like he's afraid to lose, but he does enough just to get by, and sometimes that's not enough to get us for 3 points. It just gets us 1 point.
So a couple of things you said there. Did you say that Arteta's not getting the support, or Emery's not getting the support?
I said Emery didn't get the support that Arteta is.
Oh, okay.
Arteta definitely got the support. I was saying I think Emery would have got some hardware for us already. I mean, he would have had hardware 3 or 4 years ago for us. Because guess what? He's good in cups.
Yeah, you say that, but the one time he had a chance to get us a Europa League Cup, the only Europa League Cup he hasn't won was with Arsenal. So I mean, that was under his watch. So make up your mind. You say he would have gotten us a chance. He did have a chance to get us a cup, and his team wasn't able to do it.
I think that's kind of a team shitting in bed.
But that's under his watch. I mean, and when your team loses the way we did, that's got to come. A lot of that's going to come from the manager. I mean, We didn't get there by mistake. So I hear what you're saying, but I kind of feel like he had something to do with that as well. Got a question here from Brenny. May sound a little biased, but I like Nathan Butler Oyedeji to be an impact sub. He has worked so hard on the end product this year. As an Academy player and a fan, he won't let us down so quick. Yeah, no, you know what? I don't like the idea of just putting Academy players on the bench if you don't really trust them and don't have the confidence to play them, especially when the traits and the talents that you're looking for are needed. I mean, we made one sub in this game, all right? Arteta still will not use the depth that he keeps talking about. He has a short bench, then he doesn't use what he has. Yeah, I mean Villa switched out, brought in 4 players. The big one, Digne, basically I think made the difference in the game for them. Opened things up for them, I think, in the midfield, and we didn't. I kind of feel like at some point we're going to have to utilize the bench. I mean, I don't like wasting a spot on the bench. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like we need to give them a chance. I mean, we've seen what Skelly has done when he's come on. We've seen where he has done when he's come on. I mean, we saw, I think, in the one of the cup matches, we've seen Heaven and is it Knicks? I think it is. We've seen some of these players come on and actually perform, or Knox is it, I think. But we've seen some of these players come on and perform. At some point, you're gonna, if you're not gonna bring in players, which it seems every day that goes by that we're not gonna bring in players, we're gonna have to utilize what we have, and that sounds like academy players. I mean, these players cannot continue to play every game for 90 minutes. And you sub like one. I mean, you could have subbed more of the defensive players if you really thought about it, but Arteta didn't do that either, and we suffered for that on the defensive end. But it would have been nice to bring some fresh legs and see out that game, but we didn't do that either.
I always find it criminal when you got 5 substitutions, you use one of them. I mean, there are guys on the bench that can make impact. Maybe not huge impact. Sometimes maybe it's just for fresh legs is enough to get you that extra little push that you need to get that final goal. And even when we beat Villa earlier this season, they made those substitutions. They had this shot of energy after 20 minutes. It kind of went away, but it changed the game for a while. Arteta has to learn to use substitutions, or no excuse at this point for not making. I mean, one substitution, you're right at past the halfway mark of the season. You got all these Champions League games will be coming to you. You're probably out of the League Cup, but if you want to take a stab at it, you got the players there, and hopefully he rotates them there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It just my conclusion to almost every game is like Arteta is not good enough, because it's like we always leave something on the table, and leaving 4 subs on the table is a little too much to be leaving on the table. You want Tom come to that buffet and picking through it, so there's less food there. He can navigate a buffet. You don't want to be leaving 4 subs.
Yeah, especially when you want to see out a game. You've got defensive subs you can bring in: Tierney, Kyrgios, Zinchenko, even Jorginho. I mean, you had enough subs defensively, especially after the first goal. I mean, I get maybe the first goal caught you off guard, but at that point you needed to bring in, I think, somebody to like stem the tide, maybe to because we were basically just falling back, letting them get a little bit more possession on our side of the pitch. That's going to come back to haunt you. Spencer, welcome to the show.
Good
Yeah,
evening.
yeah, we talked a little bit about the London Derby, North London Derby. You want to talk about that later, but right now we're getting into the Villa game. Bernie's got a nice comment here about maybe if we're if we're lacking some depth, then maybe we should give some of our academy players a chance. Nathan Butler, I believe, is a forward, center forward. I just don't like having academy players on the bench and not using them. I just feel like they need to be. I mean, I think you've given trust to and pretty much a lot of these academy players. I mean, you have them on there and you need something. Maybe they could do something else. Plus, they're fresh legs. So I don't know how you feel about that, but I would like to have seen. We're gonna need to utilize them at some point. We can't play another. Like we did one sub in this game. We're going on multiple games a week. I know it's pretty much gonna stop for a bit, but these players have been going at it for a while. We still have about she have about 5 games before we get a long break, and we have weekly games. But I don't know if we're gonna make it. So talk to me. What do you think about the sub?
I mean, I told you on Saturday that the sub that should have been made is push Partey to midfield, pull off Moreno, throw on Kivior and Timber and see it out. And then if you blow that lead, then you deserve to get what you get. I mean, we don't need to score 3 goals to win games. Like 2 should be enough. Like I've been adamant about when you blow a 1-0 lead down 10 men, like those things happen. It just happens. But when you're up 2-0, it's not excusable at all, man. And it even infuriates me even more. I think about it because it's just, yeah, I get it. We don't have attacking players, and we need to go get someone on the transfer market. And Arteta's out there at these press conferences saying, "I need players." And what's management doing? Like, what are you doing? I mean, I get it. To me, management's okay with whatever happens because they're going to sign the kid from Sociedad in the summer, so they're already kind of telling you they moved on and they're whatever for the year. But at the same time, like, do something. Like, are we going to bring a player in January 31st and be like, oh, hey, I know the Capital Cup's coming up on whatever day, and then we've got Man City, but we can't play Sesko because he hasn't been here long enough. Like there's just some things that just at this point it's like injuries happen. If we'd had a full squad, this would be a different story. But we don't have Saki, you don't have Jesus, you don't have Inweri. What else? I mean, what else are you gonna do, man? Like, I guess you could play the academy kid, and I'm good with that, man. I'd love that. Like, let's make some of that stuff happen. Give a kid a shot. If money's an issue, play a player. But at the end of the day, man, I'm looking at that from Saturday's game. I'm like, make a sub, man. Make a tactical sub. I know it's the 60th minute. So that's an odd time, but and that's the other thing too. People are talking about Kivior and what foot he kicks from. Your job's to defend, right? Like, I don't need you to kick the ball with your right foot. Like, just kick the ball. Like, be a defender. So if that's the reason why you're not going to bring Kivior on and see it out with Gabriel because what side the ball he kicks from, like, then what are we doing here? I mean, like, and I'm not Arteta in or Arteta out. We've talked about this on Saturday. I agree with you. Like, whatever's best for Arsenal at this point. And what we saw on Saturday, man, that's just unexcusable. It's embarrassing. And I get it. Villa's a very talented squad, so we're not taking anything away from them. Duran's a good player. Watkins, they've got talent all up and down that squad, 100%. You just don't blow 10-0 leads, man. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
And good evening, Tony and Gary. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was.
Let me just say hello to Let me see how you got a couple people joining us. Anthony joins the show. Welcome to the show, Anthony. Got also Tiger and Gunnar in the house. Welcome to the show. So Mr. Tom in there pushing his wares. We are Leeds. So everybody check that out. Yeah, Tony, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, for like a decade, everybody kept asking, "Oh, where's a left-footed defender at?" Because that's all we had was right-footed defenders for over a decade. We didn't have one Then we got Gabriel and a couple others came in through the doors, and it's just like you really don't need it. Like you said, you it doesn't matter if you're kicking it to the left or right. You used to be able to kick it good that direction. If you can get it going one direction, that's fine. Just to me, they put way too much emphasis on what foot a defender is. I kind of care what foot a attacker is, but I don't care what foot a defender is.
No, I think you just have to. I mean, at some point, based on the fact that we have now dropped 12 points from winning positions, you have to do something different. You can't just sit there and watch it happen. I mean, I think he's watched more than enough of Arsenal this season to know when. Guess what? You know, the pressure that we've been putting on them offensively, you know, and whether our defense can hold up. Maybe we should do something different. But we just sit there and do the same thing. He says he never asked our players to just, shuttle down or break, slow down their intensity. But it happens. I mean, we see it all the damn time. Right?
If he's not telling them, who is telling them? Because somebody's telling them to do that.
Yeah. No, they I mean, we saw it there. We saw it again. I mean, we've seen it many times. Supposedly he's not telling them, but supposedly they keep doing it. So I keep saying either you're coaching it or you're letting it happen. You know, I say that again and again and again. And it seems like he's letting it happen. It seems like he's okay with what they're doing because they keep doing the same thing. No, I think, you know, if a player's on our bench, I think they should, especially when you're low in resources, essentially. If you need something different, you should use them. I mean, defensively, I think based on what I've seen all this season, there's no reason why we shouldn't be making defensive changes late in games. We are. We're making silly mistakes, and we continue to do that. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I think Partey basically, you know, needed to. I don't care what position you've ever played. I don't think you leave a striker on the back line to go roam by himself. I don't think you do that. I mean, I think that was poor by him. I mean, he's supposed to be a really good defensive player, and he let that happen. I mean, if he just runs with him, there's no way he gets the ball. But he just stepped up basically and gave him a run at the goal. And of course, they actually were able to get the cross off, which I think is us also kind of leaning back, basically giving them the space and time they needed. And we got punished for it twice, basically from the same side of the pitch. You know, I think it might be, is it Trossard maybe, who's supposed to be defending? I can't remember. Did Digne get both assists? I can't remember who got the assist for them. But let's see. No, he didn't get the assist from either one of the goals. But yeah, he got the assist for Tielemans' goal. And then they got a goal from, I'm not sure who that is. Oh, Matty Cash. So, yeah. And they're both from, if I'm looking at this correctly, both from the same side of the pitch. So, yeah, I kind of felt like, he made I think, same side, I think. I don't know. But, seemed like the same side coming off the right-hand side. They both made that. So, I think you're going to have to stand up and make a play. That's what we need from this team. You know, make the one play. I don't know what you guys think about the goals that they scored. I think Moreno also. We talk about him being one of the top aerial duel players in Europe, and he gets beat aerially by Tielemans. And then, you know, I know we're supposed to say he doesn't know how to defend that, but you know, once again, you're going to have to make one of those plays to save a game for us, and he wasn't able to do that.
I still think it was a mistake by Arsenal not Tillman's on a 3. I mean, that's what type of deals you look out for. You need those type of deals to fill out a squad. It's something we need to be looking at now. Oh, his contract expires in June. Can we offer a little bit of cash for him now and will he come? I mean, that's what I would be doing. I would be dialing up every pretty good player, good enough to help you out, at least decent depth, so you don't wear your guys out. You call them up and say, "Hey, here's how much money we're willing to give you. We'll finish paying out his contract this year, and we'll sign him on permanent." You might get him because they're gonna lose him for free in 4 months anyway. So I think those teams would rather take some money, but I don't know. Early in the season, Arteta was making these preemptive defensive subs like before we needed them. It was those ones coming at like with 60th and 65th minute. It's like, well, maybe we still need some attackers on there. Bring an attacker on there. But now, like you said, Gary, it was time to bring on the defensive reinforcements. Arteta did not do that. Instead, we only use one sub. Like I said, that's just leaving too much on the table when you got 5 of them.
Yep. Spencer, the 2 goals that we did give up in this game. I mean, we're talking, I guess, about the negative, but we'll get into the positive, the goals we did score. But I guess we'll, 2 goals we did. I believe, like anything else, we're going to say that you're going to make mistakes, and that's how you're going to give up goals. But I think there are things we can do better, right?
Yeah, I mean, I said exactly what I would have done. I mean, and that's the wild thing about this, like, because normally he shuts down shop when it's 1-0. He didn't on Saturday. I mean, I don't know what they could have done a little bit better, maybe a little bit quicker. But again, this becomes the issue I have, right? So when you've got guys not playing in proper positions, like Thomas Partey, and again, I look at I mean, I know we talked about who could have started that position, and sure, you could have had Kivior started with Timber and right back. Sure, we could have done that. But, with the way they were going through our midfield, I think Partey should have been up in there, right? Maybe. I don't know.
We lose all our games with a weak midfield, but we continue weak in our midfield.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I don't know, it's disappointing, man, because it's I don't know. Partey's best in the midfield for us, and there's guys I look at and I'm like, why aren't you healthy? Like, what's up with Tommy Asu? Like, what's up? What do we need to do to get you right? Calafiore, what do we need to do to get you to stay healthy so Timber can play on his right side? I mean, Saliba, I give him a break, man. Injuries happen, right? He's normally been pretty healthy for us.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, is it possible we could have played Tierney? You know what I mean? Like, are we so like, is it such a thing that the foot they kick with matters that much? If we're talking about defend, especially if you're going to invert a fullback, we're talking about you being inverted in the middle of the field. So you should be able to kick. So there's just some things that I don't know. We've sat on here some days and take shots at the offense and been like, Kai, you haven't done this, and Trossard this, and pick a name. But man, I've got to blame this one solely on the manager. And I'm not absolving the players on the field that missed their assignments, but I just look at him today and I'm like, dude, you were up 2-0. You got the gift from the gods. Shut up shop and shit it down, and that's it. And you didn't. And then you got punished for it. So
against a
So let
coach
me just say
that,
hi to a couple people before you continue there. We got Miss Melina in the house. Welcome for joining the show. All right, go ahead.
and that's coming against a manager that that will punish you if you make those type of mistakes. And he'll definitely try to do that against Arsenal since he used to coach us.
Zanzi.
Didn't give a chance he deserves. So
Yeah.
any chance he can get to beat Arsenal, he's gonna go for it. And he got it. And he got the tie when it should have been an easy day at the office for Arsenal. All 3 points instead of 1 point. And I still feel like these 1 points end up like being losses because it's only a 1 point difference from a loss.
Yeah.
I mean, win and loss, that's 3 points. That adds up quickly. But these draws are not helping us.
Yeah.
I would rather go balls out and lose than just play mediocre football and not really go for the throat and come up with a draw. I would rather just go for it full gas. And if you lose that way, you lose playing the style you want to play, which doesn't bother me. But again, it's a draw, but it feels like a loss, and those are adding up quickly.
Yeah, we've dropped six games. We've dropped points from winning positions. Yeah, Zanzi, I think the stat actually is 1-6. We've only won 1-6 when he's played right back. Don't think he's played right back a lot because we've had Ben White and then we had Calafiori and Timber for a bit. So I don't believe he's played right back that much for us, as you said. But I'll check that. But I don't think he's played that much. But yeah, I mean, I think you're weak in your midfield, and that's where I'd rather not weaken our midfield. I'd rather put some fresh legs on the right hand side and let them just try to maintain. But it's the same old again, right? Same old. So Arteta's not doing anything different. He's going to sit there and stay with the status quo. Yeah. I think I'm the worst person in fantasy football league. One, because you have to pay attention every game, and I don't think I've changed my lineup. So Saka's been out for a bit. I think he's my captain. So, so yeah, I'm not good at that. I'm not good at keeping engaged in it.
There's too many games. It's just not even fun. Like you have to, like the money thing is really weird. So if you make transfers, they deduct off you. It's stupid. It's not even really implemented well, in my opinion.
I don't even know all of that stuff. See,
no. You got £100. Pick your 15, and then if you have a couple free transfer weeks, if not, you're going to lose £1 for every player you move. It's just, it's stupid. And then, I mean, I know if your team's suffering, mine's like a Tamagotchi. It's dead. Ain't nobody feeding it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, I would rather have Tierney in there. Let him do a little bit. I mean, would rather have him do a little bit. Yeah, for those who are watching the national championship game, Notre Dame just went down and scored. I think they've had possession so far the entire first half. So, yeah, no, it definitely feels like a loss. I think all these times we've dropped points, and I rather, as Tony said, we've had 8 draws. I think it is. I'd rather go and try to get the win, maintain the same pressure we have attacking wise, because when we fall back and we are vulnerable. But when we are continually pressing, we might get something out of it, and at least they have to they can't just like let it go because we will punish them. But that's how the game, or I guess the negative side of the game. But the positive side of the game, the offense scores 2 goals. They've been struggling to get 2 goals, scored 2 goals early. I mean, 55 minutes into the game, we're up 2-0. I mean, we've been asking for the offense to show us something. They did show us something this game. Go up 2 goals. I think the Martinelli goal, I forget how that played out.
He attacked it. That's what he did. He made a run. Trossard made the run, got the ball, crossed it in, and Martinelli made a run. Can I say this though, Gary? And I mean this in all seriousness. If the board doesn't bring in a player, then it's not that serious to them. So it's not that serious for us to lose our minds over this every time the result goes. If the management's not going to care and not back Arteta, then why should we care? I mean, I'm being serious with this. I'm not trying
to. They want the fans to support them, but then we are looking at the managers say they are short.
Yeah.
And then they're doing nothing about it. I mean, there are options, manageable options. I mean, even if they just want to do one, I'll take one. Yeah. But there are options they can do to bring in a player that can help us on the attack. I believe there are 2 attack players we're looking at and 1 defensive player. I mean, I find it still crazy that we've got defensive players on our list of players that we want to get in a January window, when in reality, we've got too many injuries there, and we're killing ourselves on offense to even get any semblance of an attack.
I mean, what could you loosely argue for a right back where Timber can play there? I mean, you can't argue left back. You can't argue center back. So that just leaves you right back if you want to try to squeeze somebody in there. But you put Timber there, he does a fine job. And just silly. And the club's answer is, we're gonna go by top academy players from other teams.
That's going to happen anyways. I don't think that's like they're not planning to do that. I believe they're always continually planning to revamp the academy. So I don't look at that as a negative in the sense that why they're bringing players in, but I am saying that we definitely need to be bringing in some first team players. And I I always feel like they spread themselves thin, right? They were already talking about a summer transfer, a really big summer transfer, and January's not even over. I mean, could that not have been discussed in February? You know what I mean? In January, can we try and get somebody in and work on that?
See, here's the reality of this too. Like, and I say this, and I think I said it on Saturday, but it's like, I think I saw one comment here talking about like if we don't bring him in, who's going to hold Arteta accountable? It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that it's the board that's not backing Arteta right here. We can hold him accountable for stuff. If that's what people are ringed around the rosy about, sure, we'll hold Arteta accountable for like the management on Saturday. Yeah, you screwed up, dude, 100%. But if they don't get a player in, it's on Arteta, it's on the board, it's on the Cronkies. But don't worry, go buy the new merch, the Year of the Dragon. We're not going to release, we're not going to go sign a new player, but go buy the new Adidas original stuff that's coming out. We got, how many kits do we got? We got a home, away, a third. We got pre-match stuff. We've got what was the varsity letter stuff, and it's just like, I don't know, man. So
yeah, no, you can see Rosie pushing everybody's shows, so check those out and subscribe. Yeah, no, I get that we need to do a lot of these things. I just would like to see us also put as much attention into getting somebody in now, because we really need somebody in now. The sooner the better. And now we are we're less than 11 days from the end of this thing. Every day that goes by, so what I think supposedly by the end of the week we will have tried to get somebody in. That's my understanding.
Yeah. Who's your source? You said you had a source.
I know. If I'm not supposed to give up my source. That's how this works.
Well, hold on. Now. We did the group chat thing about this all day today, Gary.
Yeah, I stayed out of it because I know it's.
So hold on now. So it's really nothing. It's a nothing burger.
No, it's not. It's somebody who actually works in.
So who's the player then? You can at least say that, right?
I didn't get players' names actually.
Oh man, that's like.
I got positions, forwards, and a defensive player, but I didn't get actual names. Yeah, and forwards is what we need now. I don't know if these forwards, the names are gonna give us the a nice, warm feeling. That's my thing. I mean, it's easy for me to go out there and say, look, Sesko, go get him. Pay a little bit extra to get him now. You wanted him in the summer. And you didn't let that one. You didn't let it work out, and now you need him now. Whatever you didn't tell him, in the summer, tell him now, because supposedly he wanted guarantees of playing, and I'm like, dude, you're a striker. You come to Arsenal, you'll be fine. What guarantees do you need? If you're not good, you're not going to play. That's what happens when you come to the big teams, right? I can't guarantee you're going to play. He's not going to get a guarantee like that at a big club. You know what I mean?
Yeah, tell him, look, man,
But
guarantee.
I don't. But Arsenal's not looking at you to sit on the bench.
But all he has to do is take one look at Sterling and one look at Jesus and say, it's pretty easy to get into the attack. I mean, everybody we should be trying to sign. That's all they have to look like. Who's up there?
Yep.
And they're like, yep, I can go compete and take that job.
Yeah, Brenny knows the source, but he's not saying, But like I said, we get some inside information, but it's not. We don't get full names because we'll get it sometimes just before it goes out there, and we'll get kind of how the planning goes.
Okay, so on a level of like how serious this source is, are we talking? How do I say this without making a joke of this? Because it's kind of funny at this point, to be fair. Are we talking like a kit man? Are we talking the lady at the fan shop?
No,
the guy that's.
I would say it's a professional, and it's a professional in sports. Yeah, a legitimate professional.
So we're talking an agent.
No. It doesn't have to be an agent, but definitely a professional in
Here's
the sport.
my thing, Gary. If you got it, this would be the perfect thing right here. Gary interviews this person, not about Arsenal stuff, but like in the summer, like, hey man, you should do this.
Yeah, that's I don't do that stuff anyway.
You're talking to me. You can talk to someone cool.
I don't.
Maybe it's the cameraman that featured.
I'm telling you. I mean, I believe it's legit, so I don't. You don't have to believe me. But we get a lot of information from the source we have. Yeah.
We need names, Gary. Tell your.
Nobody's giving you names. If this was a reporter, they wouldn't give you names. You know this.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna yeet this. Sorry, I had to stop Tom, so I had to say yeet. I'd say that in a minute. Is this like Deep Throat Nixon pictures? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm being serious. You guys can make jokes about it if you want, but I don't.
We just want to be in the cool club with everybody else that knows everything. That's it.
I don't have names.
It's okay.
I just gave you information that I know. Did you know that it was 2 forwards and a defender? You probably didn't.
I love Brenny. Brenny's like, he has to remain anonymous.
Yeah. No. I think it's. I mean, if it's a true source, you don't give out the name. You know this, right? You know this.
I don't think we're asking.
Way to go, Lola. There we go.
I don't think we were asking the name of the source.
No, no. Spencer was asking for names.
I mean, that's my job is to find
So Tony, no, you were wrong. He was asking for names. Who is it? He wants me to interview the person. I'm not doing that. No. But what I believe, is once again, I think Arsenal is being cheap. They don't want to.
That's very vague. But if you don't know the names, then they're not being cheap.
No, they don't. Like I said, I don't. Like I believe Sesko is a player that they've looked at. I don't think they want to get him in sooner than later. Get Ughhh, right? I don't think Osman's on the list, but yeah. I mean, you saw they were looking at Igor Jesus. I mean, was a young striker. I mean, I don't get bringing in players that need to develop. We need somebody that can play yesterday. I think that's where we should be right now.
Do we need another Brazilian on the squad?
I don't. If they're good for what we need, then we should, right? Yeah. Somebody, Anthony was asking about when the player's going to be back, and supposedly Calafiori is supposed to be back according to one of those injury sites. He's supposed to be back for the Champions League game, and then Saliba is supposed to be back at the end of January, and then early February, Ben White, Tomiyasu, and Inweri are supposed to be available based on what I'm seeing, right? Jesus, of course, is out until late next year, and Saka is out until late I mean, they're saying late March. So, I mean, for me, that we're not rushing him back, right? I mean, if we're like
It's
out of all the cups, and sitting 10, 12 points back of Liverpool, would they still have a game in hand, for example? We're not going to rush him back. We'll just bring him back when when he's fully healthy, and let him go. But in reality, I don't think there's any rush. I mean, I think we've killed we killed him basically on the pitch. I think I saw something that Ted was telling him to go take a vacation with the family. Just get away. I think it's we all think it's tough on a player when they're injured, just to be sitting there going to practice and go to games and stuff. Just mentally, it's a little bit like, and they need the rest and recharge anyway. So when you're injured, it might be a good time to just go away, hang out with the family, relax, and do whatever workouts that you need to do to get yourself back into form.
I mean, we got an airline as a sponsor, so it shouldn't be too hard to get him to go somewhere.
Very true. Very true.
Ding, you are now free to fly around the country.
Yep. When your back line is only 2 players in correct positions and Party right back, it's no surprise we yanked. Yeah, no, I mean, this one for sure. And this one, I think, once we saw the first cross come in, I think we saw that our left side was gonna allow this to happen, and it happened again on the left side. I kind of feel like, you gotta do something. Arteta just sits there and goes, I don't need to change this, and we get paid. Get punished for it. Get punished for it. Yep. No names. I'll tell Spence off the camera then. Oh, yeah.
I mean, the legitimate chances I'll probably forget in the morning anyway. I don't know. So,
yeah,
it's a legitimate chance I'll forget in the morning. I'm not going to press you.
Sure.
I'm under the opinion when it comes to signings, once they're putting the shirt on, that's when it's done.
Yeah.
I don't even care if Ornstein does it. I don't care if Romano does it.
Yeah.
I don't see them with the club releasing the cool video that's edited up and chopped up 3 different ways.
Yeah. No, I get you, but I know that the Zubamendi information that was put out there was specifically as a PR thing.
Oh,
to get people not thinking about the January window.
Which tells you what you need about January.
And it's more, yeah, exactly. So it either means they're not going to be able to get whatever they want across in January, or they're done. I don't know which one. But it sounds like they're still working on January. I just, I think with 2 weeks left in the January window, then you are, we went, it looks like we have 3 legitimate players we're looking at. We'll see if they get it across the line. I mean, if a defender is one of them, I'm just going to be like, are you kidding me? We can bring any defender in. We don't need defenders.
Well,
I don't think we're necessarily losing as many games because of defenders. Because we seem to have enough to, we held Villa scoreless for basically 60 minutes, right? With what we had going on. But, same way that they brought in Digne when they weren't able to get anything across, and he seemed to open things up for them. I think it's the same way that we need to do something similar with our squad to refresh some of those legs. Especially, you can't keep saying we're short and then you don't use your bench, and especially defensively. We've got more than enough players on the defense side that we can bring in to see out a game.
Well, that's the problem, though, Gary. Like, maybe defense is needed on top of the attack, and here's why I'm going to say
You're telling me Tierney, Zinchenko, Jorginho,
then
and Kiwior can't come on for 20-30 minutes to see out a game?
I think they can. I 100% think they can, Gary. And in fact, but again, I just brought up something earlier that, and I've heard people say this to me. Well, you can't play a right-footed, left-sided center back or whatever. Like, the foot thing, like if that's the tick we're going to choose to be the one that's going to be up our crawl, then we don't deserve to be champions of anything. If you don't have a player that can step in there and say, hey, look, man, I play outside of position. My foot, which way I'm kicking, it don't matter. If you can't do that, then we don't really deserve to win anything. We just don't.
And like I said, we did that for a decade. We had 2 right-footed guys back there to have a left-footed guys. Then finally we signed like 4 guys in a row that were left-footed. It's like it's not needed.
Did we not win an FA Cup with like an unbalanced back line?
Yeah.
We did.
I mean, so you know what? For a short time, it'll work. You know, long term, you probably you can fix it. But we're not. We're in dire straits here. You need some fresh legs out there helping you. Because when once again, a player that sits on the bench, the more they sit on the bench, the less they're going to have any game shape when they come on, and you see it, and then you get punished for it. Then, but utilize your bench. I mean, come on.
That kind of what's bust my ass about. Oh, this player isn't in sync or whatever. It's like you're not in sync when you're playing 10 minutes or 15 minutes. There, you got to play consistent football, and there's plenty of minutes to go around. This month was perfect case for it. End of December was. Instead, Arteta did what he always does: short squad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he when he first got this squad, he's like, it's too big. Then he trimmed it down the next year. Oh, it's too small. Forgetting he was the one that got rid of the players, didn't sign the players, and this year we signed 2 players. I don't think either one of them said much of an impact at this point, and they've been kind of pointless subs. I would have rather doubled the number and kind of spent that money a little bit more frugally. You can get by there with cheaper players and probably get better performances out of them.
Injury plagued players coming into Arsenal is probably a bad thing. I mean, everybody that has been injured before they got to Arsenal never really got over it. I mean, Tierney had injuries before he got to Arsenal. Lately, he's been injured all the time. Say hi to Jordan. Jordan at LFC, welcome to the show. Here's a question for us. I'll go with you, Spencer. What's your take on Erdogan? He doesn't do enough for me. Last year alone, his stats were well below par.
Well, okay, so I don't have a lot of beef with Odegaard. I have a beef with the way we play. So the way we play isn't going to get a lot out of Odegaard except chances created. And I think if we had a little bit more clinical front line, you would say a lot. You feel very differently about him. And I guess that's expectation level too, right? So we also had a year where he scored a lot of goals as well. And we're not getting that from him this year too. But we are still getting a lot of chances created. It's hard also because he missed a lot of time too. So you also have a limited amount of time to judge him by what the whole season is. That's my take on it. I don't like how Arteta makes him play. It's the same thing with the 9 position. You could, I mean, I think we sat there and we watched it together on Saturday a little bit, Gary, and a lot of times I pointed out where Kai, how far back he was or how far to the right he was. When if you're a striker or you're going to play that position, my thing is there's so many moving parts for him that it's really hard to get some great continuity because sometimes you'll see Odegaard all the way to the back line. They're hanging out by the center backs. And it's like, I need you up further. So for my manager, whatever, what I'm looking at, but we play in such a weird style where there's not really strikers, there's more forward players, and there's not really a 10, there's more of 8s. So it's kind of, I don't know, man. Like BX's comment about Zinchenko. Like, if Zinchenko's not going to play left back, play midfield. Like, I mean, like, there's certain things that from a stylistic play, if I'm going to be critical of Arteta, we have a plan A, which is slinging crosses, right? And then plan B is set pieces. 2 really good plans, but we don't have a plan C. We don't really attack to the middle as much as I'd like to see. So
we can't because we don't have the one player that can help us do that because he's playing right back.
We do have the one player that could do that, and that's our Odegaard, but he plays such a floating position in the midfield that he's either going to be on one side of the pitch. Hey, I used to look at this as like triangles, Gary. So you would look at it like Ben White, Saka, and Odegaard. That was your one triangle. And then on your other triangle, you had Martinelli, whoever the left back was of the month, and then Xhaka, right? Now we've taken Xhaka out, put Rice in there, Moreno. We don't really – that 8 position on the other side hasn't really locked itself down yet either. But I'm rambling on this, but so to close this and make people less fall asleep and change the channel, I feel I'm okay with Odegaard at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw something when he came back from his injury, and then we didn't see it. We haven't seen it again. So I think he got sick or something like that. So he kind of lost it. I think if you remember, he came in as a sub and was basically out there, just basically like you said, creating chances for us and whatnot. He was, as opposed to being part of the buildup. I mean, he was putting the crosses in, putting the passes in, and all of that. Haven't seen any of that, and I know you're going to say because when he starts, he's just going to play further back or off to one side, which kind of limits him. But I kind of felt like at some point in these games, I need him to stand up. So, Tony, what do you think about Erdogan?
I feel like he's Houdini and he's starting off handcuffed because Arteta's tactics just don't work for him. Having him being back there, being the last line of defense, that shouldn't happen. That should either be your midfield or you fix the problem for all. Tierney's played it for his nation. Tomiyasu's done it for his nation. Basically, all these guys have played in the back three. That way, all your midfield can go attack because you got 3 guys that are always there at the back. But that's a little too simple and practical, I guess. But the problem is he doesn't need to be back there playing defense. He doesn't need to be glued to the right side. He should be in the middle. Sorry, Spencer, I'm going to repeat about a dozen things you said, but it's still true. It's just you have to get these players. I know Spencer uses this a lot, just in sports in general. You got to get them in positions where they can win, get the best out of them, and where Odegaard is on the pitch right now, you're not getting the best out of Odegaard. He needs to be up front. You've seen it when he had the chance when he was playing up front. Over 10 goals, still over 10 assists. Can't ask for more. He's got that in his locker. It's not like he just lost the ability to shoot. It's Arteta doesn't let him be up there and shoot. To me, you need to quit with all this inverted. It's all they're wing backs. I don't care if they're attacking inside or outside, but sometimes it takes the basics. There's nothing wrong with a 4-4-2, especially when you're down players. It worked when Odegaard was gone. So if Odegaard's there, it should still work when you got other players out. Hopefully, I don't think Winery was that serious of injury, so hopefully he'll be back early in February. But it just drives me nuts that you see where these guys see that and Arteta, being a midfielder, should know where's Zinchenko, or not where's Zinchenko. Zinchenko still would work in the midfield, but you have to know where Odegaard would want to play, where he's going to succeed. And instead, we see him stuck in no man's land back there on the right side. If Partey's playing right back, all the time he's back behind Partey. And that's not make people happy with Odegaard, even though he's doing absolutely nothing wrong. It boils down to manager, and I definitely think this game was all Arteta's fault.
Yeah, I hear you. And going from Erdogan to people talking about Rashford. I mean, he's going to could be our Sterling of this window. He's available, and if they can make it work like they did for Sterling, they could bring him in. But I think the only way you can do that is if they let Sterling go, or if they let Neto go. So I don't think that's an option for us.
The logical would be to just buy Neto outright and make him permanent.
Yep.
And I say that because of his age. He's 35. He's not probably looking for first team games as much. And you could probably sign him on a 1-year deal. Wouldn't cost you a lot. Make him permanent. It solves the problem because you got Tommy Setford there, right? The 18-year-old that you got out of, I think, Ajax. So he's probably the guy you're looking at in the future, or he's a prospect. But get yourself an older guy that can sit there, back up Raya. I know he's cup tied and all that stuff, but that's what I would do if you're going to bring in Rashford, someone, because that's really the key here. I think if you're looking for viable options, I think you kind of have to look up and down the Prem, and I'm talking like from 8th place to about 14th place. Find somebody that's maybe fallen out of favor, someone you could bring in on loan, someone who's looking for a second chance. And that's probably where the viable move is. But the Rashford one makes sense. I know people don't like it. I mean, it's not the first selection, obviously, but you can't go with nothing.
Got that right. Can't go with nothing. I mean, I think Rashford should be the second player that we bring in, not the only player that we bring in. At least the second. It'd be nice if he was the third, but that can't be your only decision. I mean, you're just basically, as you said it, and we say, the English say it a lot, taking the piss. We need, we don't need another Havertz, another player that is struggling to get into the team that he's been in for a bit, even though he's won them things. And I think that's where, these reclamation projects, I mean, we might be getting them done, but we're not winning, so they're not helping us. We need people that are going to be able to come in and we don't have to deal with, the mental side of the game.
But
So
that's what's funny though, Gary. He'll do these older projects, and if you're the age of those players, you're really not projects at that point. It's just a slight little overhaul or anything, because that player you're buying, that's what you're getting. But he won't take this effort on the young players. If they screw up, then they're out of a squad for.
Well, I mean,
series of
it's
games.
recruitment, right? You brought in Sambi. He hasn't seemed to fit in with what we do. We brought in Nuno Tavares. He definitely doesn't fit in with what we do.
Yeah, but he does, Gary.
He doesn't, because we need him to do other things. That's why he was getting subbed in and then getting pulled out. So obviously, Arteta says, you're not doing what I want. Not only am I going to sub you in because I think you can help me, but I'm going to sub you out before the game's over. So it's not a good sign.
Can I agree with Tony for 1 second here on this one? But let me give me a caveat when I'm about to say on this. I know you're about to say wing backs, but I'm going to say Tavares would have made a perfect left winger. We just let him just go crazy up top, because he's scared us.
But that's the thing. We don't let our wings go crazy like you're saying. I mean, if you're going to do that, why wouldn't we let Saka do that? And we don't do that for him, and he's the best player on the team.
What do you mean? Well, he's allowed to go crazy.
No, he's not. He'll tell you, I have responsibilities on the defensive end.
You're always going to have responsibilities on the defensive
end. No, but enough that I cannot. You watch the way we play, right? We ask a lot of our wings, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they come back a lot and deep, really. That's why when we turn the ball over, a lot of times you're like, one side of the ball, you see Martinelli with the ball, and there's nobody there because they're so far back, they can't get involved, and Martinelli can't hold up with the ball. So then, we basically lose the ball. So I hear what you're saying. I don't think we play that style where, you know what, you're good at one part of this role, we'll let you go crazy with it. I don't think we play that way. you have to be cautious about what you're doing. We know this, right? Arteta's risk averse. He's not going to let you just go crazy, right?
I believe they let him play both positions. They let him play left wing plus the wing back, leading the 5 leagues in Europe in assists. So I think he gives Arteta what he would want, but
Obviously not. So we keep saying he would give Arteta what he wants, and he's not here because he wasn't giving Arteta what he wants. For some reason, Martinelli and Trossard are giving him what he wants.
Once with Arteta, you're done with. You're done. That's your nail in your coffin.
Is it possible that Nuno needed more growth, and this is part of the loan proclamation? Because I must say this: like, are we saying that Arsenal are done with Sambi Lokonga? Are we saying that Arsenal are done with Nuno Tavares? Are they done with
Nuno Tavares has a buyout clause or something like that.
He might. I'm not
sure about Sambi
because we didn't think Tierney would ever make it on the field again, and he has.
Yeah, I think the reason why is because he's been like that is the only way you're going to get on is if he has no choices.
I understand that.
So like to say he's getting on, he's not. If he had a choice, he wouldn't bring him on.
I just don't. Well, that's true, but I mean, if all things are equal, but I also don't. I just don't think the story's written for Tavares or Fabio Vieira at Arsenal. I don't think it's completely done.
Yeah,
that's my point. I'm
probably
completely wrong on this. He's probably out the door in the summer and gone.
Yeah.
But part of me has this gut feeling that he was brought in. Remember we talked about this. We brought a lot of projects.
Yeah, we don't have time for that anymore.
I mean, but here's the reality. I just don't think the clubs can be done with Fabio Vieira. Like if that's got to be the worst transfer. If that's what we got out of it, it just has to be.
Yeah, but you know what? For me, that's where Arteta needs to basically. I don't know, be humble and work with this player and get him to do the things he wants. Right.
Yep. Well, the best manager.
If he doesn't do that, then you know what? You're a poor manager. I mean, he lets them just flounder and doesn't come back. Doesn't come in and help them. Some players need a hand around the shoulder. Some players need a kick up the butt. So yeah. I mean, I don't know if playing Partey at right back is the same as a quarterback on as a defender, even though there are some probably quarterbacks in college that can play defense.
I mean,
those are athletes. Yeah.
Marquinhos is another player I think we gave up on too early.
Yeah, I mean, we did all that for, that was for PR, right? To get into good graces with whatever country he's in. We've seen nothing, like we paid for him and he was free. So not only are we, we're going out of way to pay for a player who's free, because we want to have good relations. We get nothing out of it. So you just wasted money on a player that was free. You spent money on a player that's free, right? But then bring in a Tielemans, that's going to be an issue. It's silly.
If I'm Stan or Josh, I'm like, well, what happened to this player? Why aren't you using this player? You wanted $34 million for Fabio Vieira. I mean, Edu's obviously out the door, so he can't be held accountable.
Yeah.
But I'm like, look, why did you ask?
Edu has nothing to do with it anymore because at some point,
when
a player steps through the door, the coach has to utilize him.
You're calling me Stan. I'm Stan Kroenke, the real estate mogul. So what do you want, Arteta? I need $80 million. Whatever happened to such and such? Well, we've loaned them out. Why? They didn't work out. So you want me to give you 80 more? Like do you know what I mean? Like there's money that I feel like we haven't been frugal on certain transfers,
but defensively we're going to get them out every window.
But
every summer we're getting 2 to 3 defenders, but you ask for an attacker and it will.
Look how many people are injured on the defensive line now. Like,
I think part of that is because we don't rotate. But enough of them. People are going to say you don't rotate a starting. You don't wrote a starting good thing, and I'm like, all right. Well, I mean, I feel like we need to. Because it's not only that, but we're talking about after the last 2 seasons, right? The last 2 seasons where your starting center backs have been playing, Tony will know the stats, like 3,000 minutes. You can't keep doing that. They're gonna wear down, and we've seen it already. Like Saka, you can't have him play, the 3,000 minutes. It's gonna wear down, especially if you're expecting to get the best out of him. He doesn't have to start every game.
The 3,800, Gary, was the magic number.
Yeah. So like that's nobody's doing that. The teams that we're competing with, they don't have players playing that many minutes, right? And that means the squad depth has to be there. That means your recruitment has to be good enough that you're bringing players that you can sit. My dog's making a lot of noise. You can sit those players.
Take care of the thing, Gary.
He's sitting on his bed screaming. I don't get it.
He wants attention. But look, this is the thing I said on Saturday, and I don't think people that are here now heard it on Saturday. But the biggest criminal thing that this club did in the last 2 years was let that young academy player go to Man United that was a striker scoring 10, 15 goals a game. That was the biggest criminal thing we did. 100%. Because you can sit here all day and talk about, oh, we need 80 million for this guy and 60 for this guy. All you had to do was go to that young player and say, look, man, worst case scenario, we'll give you 25K a week. He may never play for you, but what's that investment? 25K a week. I don't even think that's $1 million a year. I could be wrong on that, but either way, it's cheaper than paying 80 million plus whatever the wages and the bonuses and the goal bonuses are.
Yep, it drives me up a wall when you don't try these. And I was gonna say, Chronicky should understand this more than most owners, because guess what? Football, there's a lot of bust. Average career in football, 2 seasons, to 2 NFL seasons, then you're done. So he should understand bust. He's in a position that he's have to get probably another quarterback. So I think he should get the picture that you need the strikers. You'd have players that don't pan out, and those players didn't. They were cheap options to begin with, most of them in Portugal. Who I mean, that was it's been the fashionable thing for the last couple of years, but 10, 15 years back, it was fashionable again to go to Portugal, get these guys on cheap and try to turn a profit on them. But it didn't work. So now it's time to go get some new guys. And by new guys, I mean guys with Premier League experience, preferably in the 24, 26-year-old bracket, ready to go. So you know what you're going to get out of them. As Gary says, we don't have time for projects, but we don't have time for rejects. We don't have time to deal with Sterling. Sterling's past his prime. He's not giving you much. Same with Jesus. Jesus is like 5 years older than his age says, because he's wore out, can't give you much energy. It isn't giving you goals, and the whole team. To me, we still don't have a striker. I think Kai's what you would say is a center forward. I don't think he's a striker. We had a striker, but like Spencer just mentioned, the kid went to Man United. Bad coaching choices from us. And lots of players have been walking from academy because guess what? They haven't been able to play. Last year, all last year, you see 5, 6 names on the sheet. They are academy kids, and they didn't play. This year is balls are to the wall, doesn't have a choice, so he has to play the academy kids, and he barely did that. But best choice, you got Odegaard out, Laneri's full of energy, great going forward, and guess what? He barely got a minute out there. So to me, this falls on Arteta and Adu. I think that's why Adu's gone. So I just to me, I feel like we're handcuffed in signing any players because you don't have a dude there. You don't have a sporting director. You can't sell a player, oh, this is our grand scheme. Well, how can this be your grand scheme when you don't have your football director in there yet? That's
You don't think a manager can tell you how this thing will work? I mean,
I think he can give you an idea, but I would rather
I
have
don't. I mean, I think
other
a
people.
manager can give you the idea of how things are going to work out for you. That's why they're bringing you in. So I don't think that. I don't think that's, you can't get sold by the manager. I mean, I mean, all the players eventually talk to the manager anyways. So, I kind of feel like, yeah, you have a sporting director for the maybe the upfront stuff, but eventually you're talking to the manager, so they get a feeling of what's going, the player they're bringing in. So I kind of feel like that's yeah, my dog is just standing there just whining, man.
Give it attention.
I did. I spent the whole day with him.
You should say hello, hello.
I've been saying hello to him. That's why I got on mute a couple of times.
Well, he wants to give his opinion on this.
He thinks all of this is crap. He's like, yeah.
He's like,
Hi,
it's wrong.
Gator. Just say hi, Gator.
Hey, Gator. He stepped away, so I don't know. But no, we are 75 minutes in. Or do we just, let's talk about the next two matches. We've got Zenamo Zagreb and Wolves. I still two winnable games. We're going to need to get back on a winning streak again. We need to start it on, Wednesday? And also, if we win this game, I think that gives us a really good shot of staying in the top 8. I believe the way it works is if you finish in the top 2, you're guaranteed home on the second leg of every match that you play in. And those home and home matches. So, there's incentive to get a win here. And once again, we're going to have to utilize the squad. Same thing with Wolves. We got a short week, so Wednesday, Saturday. Ted is going to have to utilize the squad. So even if he starts the same players, he's going to have to, I think sub, even if that meant subbing at halftime, just to get give the players a little bit of a break. I don't think they can go again for like 80, 90 minutes, no matter what the scoreline is. I think Arteta thinks the scoreline means something, and it shouldn't, especially if the players aren't offering you what you want. So Spencer, next two games.
I think we can get 6 points, and 3 in each. Obviously, I think it's doable. Is the Wolves game is at Wolves, right? The MANU.
Yes, it's our first road match in a while.
Yeah, I think they can get results in both. I know the gut feeling is it's not going to happen. I know there's a lot of negative vibes going on right now. I mean, the Spurs game only gets you so far, right, as far as the vibes and how people feel. But again, if you get a 2-goal lead and go up, finish it out and see it done. Not having a striker is a problem. It's a massive problem. Not having Saka is a problem. I mean, this window is. I said this and I meant this earlier. If they don't replace and get us a forward in this window, just stop stressing about this team, y'all. I'm just being real about it. It's easier said than done, but if they're not going to go out of the way and get you some help, then they're telling you everything they need to know about the rest of the year. So, but God knows, hopefully everything works out well. Saka could come back and flying colors, and everything's going to be rainbows and unicorns, and we're going to win 6-0 on Wednesday and 7-0 against. Come on, I can't even say that straight. I just give me some clean sheets, 2-0 wins in each game, and I can move on with my day.
Yeah.
And some people that need goals too. Hell, let me get Raheem Sterling with a brace on Wednesday or something like that. Make me feel good about you being here.
True.
So
I definitely feel. I mean, we saw Wolves today playing Chelsea. Chelsea's defense is poor, very poor. I mean, they gave up the goal and a really poor clearance by the goalkeeper. They weren't able to take advantage of any of the other opportunities, but for us, we need to take advantage, and if we play our defense the way we have, we'll be fine. I mean, yeah, Tony, what do you think about the next two games, or at least the next game?
I think it doesn't matter how you win, as long as you win. It's the point of a season where you get these dirty, gritty wins, and it doesn't matter how you do it, especially when you're getting thinner and thinner on your squad. You just have to go out there and score more goals than they do. I still think he needs to simplify the defense because when you're having to use your attackers and midfielders in defense, it just handicap you to start with. So be simple. Back three. That's all I ask for.
Mm. Yeah. Obviously, that's not what he wants to do. That's not what he wants to do. As just as people say, they don't think he wants to retreat back to what got him a FA Cup, because then he would, his plan of a back four just doesn't work. Sounds silly, but sometimes when you're having these injury concerns, you need to go with something that's a little bit more lasting and maybe gives your defense a little bit more stability.
Because that way you could play Moreno, you could play Jorginho, you could play Rice, you could play Partey. And then you do a simple back three of Gabriel, Saliba, and Timber.
Yep.
Or even Tierney back there and leave Timber for one of the fullbacks.
Yeah. Give a little bit of break there. Tyler Adams actually played a good game for Bournemouth. So I think it's Bournemouth he plays for. He looked really good. I mean, he was getting. Who were they playing? I forgot who they were playing, but he was getting players having problems.
Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle. They pretty much blew Newcastle away. And when we lost 2-0 to them, everybody was like, "How in the world did you lose to Bournemouth?" Yeah, you went down 10 men, but Newcastle was on a roll, right? They had won 9 in a row.
Yeah, Bournemouth's looking really good, right? They've got some really good wins. I think they're 6th in the table, and looking really good right now. So again, like, you don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know.
Yeah, no,
that didn't make sense.
No, but I hear what you're saying. But
yeah,
when Arsenal loses to them, people are like, "That's a poor loss," and then they go out there and they beat Newcastle, and people are like, "Nothing."
A loss in September that looks horrific could actually end up being not the worst loss in April.
Yeah. I mean,
by relative to how that team ends up finishing and their stories written.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like, you know what, there are reasons why teams get beat, and it's not only because your team plays bad. Sometimes they are a better team than you think. All right, we're gonna get out of here. I think. Appreciate everybody who's joined us. Thanks for joining us. We will say our goodbyes and get ready for is it Wednesday match, right? Home again. So we've won 1 match at home in the 4 that we've got. This is our 5th. It'd be nice to get a second win in a home stretch that we got. So we'll see about that. So we will let Spencer go first. Oops, I almost clicked the wrong button there. Spencer.
Well, happy Monday, everybody. January 20, 2024. Let's see what happens, man. 11 days left in the window? Actually, 10. Don't get wrapped up in all the transfer rumor stuff. Like, I know it's frustrating. We're all guilty of it. I know I've messed with some people today, and I don't want anybody taking anything personal. I just I don't like trust me bro sources. I'm just saying. So but no, hopefully the sources are true. Hell, surprise me and let's get a couple players in before the window's over. And I don't know, man. You got City coming up after the window, and you got the Newcastle Carabao Cup game. Obviously, it's the Champions League Wednesday and the Wolves this weekend. So I don't know, man. Positive vibes, and I don't know, man. That's all I got. But thank you, everybody that came and listened to us. Sorry for my tardiness. But it was fun to hang out with Tony and Gary tonight. And enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Stay warm.
Will do. All right, Tony. What say you?
Gary's not going to tell us the sources. Bad Gary. He should
Hmm.
let us know. At least know us what position the players are.
They play football, Tony.
They play football.
I told you forward and defense. I mean, what more do you want me to tell you? 2 forwards and 1 defender. Hmm.
What number do they currently wear?
I don't know.
Just giving you shit, Gary. Just go out there, have fun. There's a half a foot of snow here. It's 15 degrees. That'd be like 5 degrees later tonight. So
Yep.
life's short. Yeah. Even I can go out there and get on the sled and slide. So
There you go.
I have to find somebody to pull me back up, but that's a different story.
Yep.
Anyway, just take life as it comes to you. Don't get all wrapped up in all this, because guess what? Doesn't matter what we think of Arsenal, they're gonna do the same fucking thing we're gonna do anyway. So doesn't matter. It's our tennis team, and we just sit here and bullshit for an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on the length of the show. Have fun, and that's about the most you can get out of these things.
Okay, cool. All right, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. We'll be doing this again next Monday. It'll be 2 games after. Hopefully, once again, we're talking about a 2-game winning streak. We'll see how we do. But otherwise, enjoy. Have a good rest of your evening. Yeah, I was gonna go make a drive yesterday to this morning, but weather was bad, and I felt bad after I shoveled. So once again, like I said, I just laid on the couch, which is good. You can do that on a holiday, and that's what I did. But we'll be back in 2 weeks. Check us, not in a week. Check us out on Saturday. We'll be. I think Arsenal is playing the same time as the show, so it'll be kind of a watch along, and then maybe we'll do a chatter afterwards. But yeah, so that's how that will go. Everybody, thank you for joining. Remember to hit the likes and subscribe. We will do this thing again on the next one.
Next time, Gary, hire a 10-year-old from a neighborhood to scrape your drive for you.
I got lots of bills to pay. I don't have money.
Buy a flamethrower. That'll do it.
A flamethrower on my car? No thanks.
Yeah. I'm saying for the drive away. Your car, you got to figure that out on your own.
No, I've seen people with those things. Now I don't need to. No thanks. I can see myself tripping over or something, and then craziness happens. So no. Everybody hit the like. We will see you guys on the next one. Over and out. Enjoy your night. Bye-bye.
Life is a journey. Don't waste the trip. Enjoy the ride.